I think the 49ers offense is going to have a good game. And this is what happens, right? We get on Jimmy Garoppolo and we talk about, oh man, like bench Jimmy and this and that. And then he comes out and he has a good game. And I think that's what is going to happen. I think Jimmy's going to come out. He's out. He's going to have a good game against the Bengals. And then he's going to be able to put behind the whole Trey Lance talk. But I'm not going to stop with this Trey Lance talk. And I feel like the 49ers should incorporate him in the offense. Now, we all have. And I put it away. I've crumbled up the thought of Trey Lance playing this year and said, you know what? It's not necessary. But I would love to see, like, we can't do anything with him to where he expands on the offense. Because that was the thing, right? Coming in, it wasn't necessarily about Trey Lance starting. It really was more so about Trey Lance. Like, can he come in? Like, can he change? Can he bring a different dynamic? Can he utilize it? We saw a little bit against the Raiders. It's like, wow, what is this? Jimmy's in, and then Trey's in, and then Jimmy's in, and now Kyle's like, well, mess up the rhythm. I don't even want to focus on that. Can't do that. But it's like, Kyle, this is a legit weapon. This is a legit opportunity to use to make teams worry about something different. Right now, the run game works because the 49ers continue to just run the ball. Even when the 49ers run the ball, they're not really running it at a high clip. I want to say last game, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they average 3 yards per carry? So why not have somebody that can help expand on that and expand on the run game? I thought that's what he was going to be doing this year. I think Jimmy's going to do fine this year. I think Jimmy's going to do fine. I think Jimmy's going to not this year, this game. I think Jimmy's going to have a really good game against Cincinnati Bengals. I can see that. But I still think, like, we can't be a little bit more explosive with certain things that we do, more creative. It's so odd. It's so odd. Here we go. We got my guy Gary Cole. He says 2.9 yards per carry. That's not a good run game. 2.9 yards a carry? And it's crazy because it's a 2.9 yards a carry. And on top of that, they're crowding the box. They're making it tough. They're crowding the middle of the field. They're making it a little bit harder to throw there. It's like, man, you got to have, you know, George Kittle catch a crosser route and break a tackle and make a guy miss and then tightrope a sideline for 50 yards to have explosive plays. When I feel like you can bring a different dynamic that it just open things up, and it's like how it only helps you with your offense. We can't script that into at least the first 15 plays. I don't know. It's really wild to me. Would love to see him utilize Lance in that aspect. I'm not saying start Trey Lance, even though I would. But I'm not saying start Trey Lance. But damn, y'all look at the offense right now. Okay, here's the thing. And I know there's a lot of people I see the chat. People like, he's not playing Trey Lance. That's not, I can come on here and tell you everything that they're not going to do, but we can't have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We can't have a conversation. They're not gonna bench Josh Norman, but y'all still love talking about it every week. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it would be nice to see Kyle Shanahan utilize Trey Lance to open up things because it would. It would. And we've seen it. And we've seen the conflict that puts defenses in. And the fact that he's just not utilizing is like, Kyle, what are we doing, bro? I think one thing that really helped is what's going to go on with our guy, Deebo Samuel. Is Deebo Samuel going to play? Because that's probably you're going to miss him on the offensive side of the ball, of course. But just with Deebo, it's the plays that you can't account for, right? I think and talking shit, Croc. I think with Deebo Samuel, I watched last game and I was thinking, what play would Deebo Samuel have made a difference on? What would his production be like? And the crazy thing with Deebo Samuel, you just never know because the way they utilize him is just so much different, right? He can catch a slant, take it to the crib. I saw a crazy stat. Deebo Samuel leads the league in yards. It was it yards after catch. Deebo Samuel leads the league. and he leads the league in yards after catch by like 2, right? Now, typically people that lead in yards after catch is typically running backs. All right. Why do running backs usually lead in yards after catch? Because typically they catch the ball near the line of scrimmage or around the line of scrimmage, they turn upfield and they pick up 7, 8 yards. So then they end up having a high yards after catch average because of that, right? But the average depth of target typically isn't high for players that typically have a high yards after catch average. So if you look at the second person, right, the second leader in yards after catch, I believe it's Rondale Moore from Arizona. So Rondale Moore from Arizona, he's second right now in yards after catch, right? His average depth of target was like 2 yards. Debo Samuel's average depth of target was almost 9 yards, and he's first in yards after catch. That's special. That means Debo's doing some things that nobody else in the league is doing. So Rondale Moore, his is screenplays. His yards after catch, screenplays. Debo Samuel, his average depth of target is almost 9 yards. That means he's catching and running for big yardage. Now, some of them you can look at the catch against the Detroit Lions down the sideline. The average depth of that target was probably 35 yards, and then he had another 35 yards on top of that with yards after catch.